Hi, for today's teardown we have this quite unusual color box of avionics from the French Aerospatiale Company in Toulouse. So I found it on eBay one more time, and I hope it will be interesting inside. Not very heavy. Apparently it is called the SDAC. I hope it is for synchro to digital analog converter, and we will have a whole bunch of super expensive analog devices, synchro specific analog digital hybrid converters inside. We will find out. Not sure. Maybe yes, maybe not. So on the front here we have one built-in handle. The whole front piece seems to be a main access cover. Apparently some manufacturer label here was destroyed on purpose, and they did actually do a lot of damage on the paint, sadly. Here we have what seems to be some kind of memory or software cartridge. Yes, it will extract like this, and you will notice we have a label here from the SIA engineering company with the Singapore Airlines logo. So it looks like it is a former Singapore Airline equipment. So this piece made insane number of hours of flight and miles from Europa to Singapore and Indonesia probably. So this module here, we will open it later. We have nice golden contacts, and it is called the OBRM. So one serial number here, date code of September 96, and the old Aerospatiale logo. It is the mother company of Airbus in France. They made also, they make satellites, and they also make the rocket for the French nuclear dissuasion power. And we even have one address, 316 Route de Bayonne in Toulouse. Interesting. So we will have a look at this module later. What do we have else? First on the sides, here one blank panel. Top and bottom are the same panel with these holes, and I can see already a number of circuit boards inside. Other side here, some extra module. I guess it might be a power supply. We will find out. And one thing very important, look at the screws here. They are not Phillips, they are torque set screws. You need to use the correct screwdriver to undo them. Sadly, for the little ones here, I have not got this small size, so I will try to do with another tool, but you will damage the heads if you do not have the correct tool. And luckily enough, you find them into this really common security bits sets. Here they are. So 3 different sizes. It is important to select the correct one. I believe it will be the middle one here, if I can extract it. Or maybe the other one, I will find out. But really it is important to have a correct tool to undo these screws. Okay. Last but not least, on the back side we have more venting holes. We have a bunch of connectors with conductive covers from ITT Canon. So I will try to undo them for you, at least one side. So it is written on it conductive. And you can see here massive gold contacts on this one. Here we have a number of contacts, and I believe the other side is exactly the same. Okay, and you will notice here, it is quite fun because actually they did destroy the manufacturer plate on the front, but not on the back. And we actually have all the information here about the serial number of the device. So yes, called the SDAC, serial number 1615 in October 96. Okay, so really I am curious to see what we will have inside. So let's start to take it apart. I believe I will start with a front cover because it will be easier for me, and then I will put the camera overhead and we will undo all the other panels. Okay, I believe all the screws are off, and yes, it will pull right away, and as expected, a number of circuit boards. Here on the cover, die-cast aluminum apparently with foam to secure the boards in place. Okay, what else? Some information stamped here. And here some quality control stamps. Okay, nothing else. So you can see a full set of boards with apparently edge connector here for probably programming or debugging purpose or test. And we have here little tabs with actually extract handles with the name of the boards. So they are called input tube, input converter, analog, ARINC, the onboard network on the aircraft, CPU, and more input tube. So we have 3 input tube boards. So it looks like this wall box is responsible for converting to digital and processing the information from a bunch of sensors of the aircraft or something like this. Apparently, it is my guess at least, but I did not find any other information. Here you have a slot for the memory module. Okay, and here the little box on the side. Interesting. So now I will put the camera overhead. So this box is most probably out from an Airbus airliner. We will open the covers here and reveal the contents. Okay, one plate is off. We can see nice guides for the boards, a bunch of very interesting construction actually. There is a kind of a backplane here with seems to be almost a Vero board piece here with a lot of wires connecting all together, so probably common grounding or power supply bus. With, you can see down here a number of header connectors that go directly to the connectors for the boards. Everything is wired through these headers on gold pins like this. There is I can see a number of wires in here, something quite insane, but I am not sure if it will be easy or not to undo the back panel. There should be a lot of screws actually, 2 screws each time and 1 here, and we will have nothing else than the big shell of connectors, bunch of wires, and on each side here the circuit board with a lot of diodes, but we will see them better on this side. So I will undo this panel. So I do not think it will be necessary to undo the bottom panel, or maybe we'll find out. Okay, back of a circuit board here with actually interesting patterns of parts. You can see, as I said, the board connectors that will go out like this. Actually this one was not even fully inserted, it seems. Quite weird. Maybe it is not in the correct spot, this board. Quite interesting. And here, as I said, big, super long header connector that is not secured by other things than the pins themselves, it seems. Yes, I will not undo it because it will be tricky to reinstall, but you get the idea. And here, as I said, yes, a board full of big diodes, both sides, and they are cooled with holes here at the back. And a whole bunch of quite dusty wires actually going to them. Look at this. So a lot of dust in this area. Apparently we had fans blowing air through the wall box. Okay, very nice. I will undo the other side panel with what seems to be the power supply module. So actually this thing is almost too large for my setup here. I cannot unzoom any more than this. But at least we will have a good view at everything. So very interesting piece of unusual piece of equipment. I did never see one like this before on eBay. Okay, so this panel will slide right out, and apparently seems we have interesting stuff. Not exactly what I did expect, but seems to be quite interesting. Here a big red disc component also. Okay, time to undo this box here, which seems to be probably a power supply. So if it is just a power supply, I guess it will not be very interesting inside, but we will check out, we never know. Sometimes we can have nice unexpected things. So, okay, one connector here to undo, a 3-row D-sub connector with more little screws. Quite a serious wire harness going to it, and should be not a problem. Okay, very good. So this box, yes, for sure, it is apparently a power supply block, date code, serial number, aerospatial specifications, but made by one other French company, which was making, I believe, test equipment and laboratory power supplies and things like this. And at first glance, the inside seems very power supply-ish. Apparently, a switching mode power supply. It is quite light, this box, not super heavy, and little slotted screws, interesting. Okay, I will put this out of the way And a little bit of zoom in. We will start with the memory module. So this little memory module, apparently the screws are not even tight on here. Very small screws, and will it open? Simply it will slide out like this. We have two EPROMs without protective stickers on the clips and without sockets, so it will not be easily to read them, sadly. Backside, okay. I wonder why they did not cover the clips. No gold bonding wires. Okay, I will put it immediately back in the box to protect the contents in case I am able to read them sometime soon. Okay, it is all for this. Then the power supply module seems to be quite interesting. We will find out. Maybe not, maybe yes. So, what do we have? Cover with some dust and a regular power supply, big capacitors, toroidal transformer here it seems, old school capacitors, one ceramic base hybrid module here. And look at this, we have here one more capacitor behind this bracket, but it looks like we have a big, yes, look at this, very interesting, a big ceramic hybrid circuit board at the bottom. So under here we'll just have a few ICs, but it is continuing down here. And you know what? There is even one more here at the back. So it might be quite tedious to undo actually, because there is all these screws here, not easy to reach. But it is an unusual construction. Look at this. I will try to show you better here. Yes, the same thing, one ceramic plate with surface mount ICs mostly. Optocoupler also, okay, but really interesting construction on this thing. I was not expecting, and I can even see here, can you see this? It seems to be a laser trimmed resistor on this plate. Okay. Quite common grade of components, I believe. I do not see mil-spec component, and even look at this. Madness built in double stack inside Rifa capacitor, and we have another one here, smaller one, but this thing on mains is prone to explode. This one does not seem to be cracked. No signs of damage, but interesting pattern on the top here. These are probably much better capacitors and regular electrolytics. So from Safco company, apparently French company also. Okay, but really unusual thing. The serial number you have on the cover here is stamped here on the frame. Okay, so I will put this back together and we will have a look at the circuit boards. So with no particular order, the circuit boards, as I said, on the front we have debug or test connector, little tab here with the name of the board, input 2, we have actually 3 of them of 2 different models, it seems, 2 different versions, these things, and the shiny golden connector. So what do we have in here? I see a lot of Harris CD74 series ICs. Wet total amp capacitor here. Nice golden top IC here, but the reference is super hard to read. Seems to be analog devices, maybe 630AD, something like this. Resistor networks. Seems to be here metal can op amps. LM158. Yes, quite oxidized case, these things. Little trimmer here. A few transistors here. ST Microelectronics brand BDW92, and it is fun to see they were made in Malaysia, not far from Indonesia, where this box was in service in an aircraft. And we have all these hybrid modules, so ceramic plate hybrid, nothing on the back except a few tracks. And on the top they are all the same model for this board, at least, called apparently CMAC, with these 3 ICs each time. So probably front ends to convert information from synchros or sensors on the aircraft, branded Airbus. Quite unusual. I was not expecting this in this box. I will not undo them because this material is super delicate and brittle and it could break very easily. So I will not attempt to undo them. Okay, the next board here. It was this one, so excuse me. If I reinsert it in the correct direction, by the way, it will be easier. Just 1 second. Here we are. So next board we have so we have 2 of this model, I believe. Input 2, input 2. Yes, 3 of this input 2. This one is called also input converter, but it seems to be quite similar. But first we will have a look at the other model of input 2 we have. So the same thing here, except the modules here are a little bit different. The clue about the model number. Yes, we have the same model number. We have apparently 3 different versions. So you can see different layout of the parts, but the same board, so probably several revisions, and maybe some were replaced at some point, or something like this. And we have one more here, the one which was behind the power supply. Again, this variation of hybrids, everything is the same. Now it is possible to read the IC number 640AD. Okay, so the same board, and I can see the next one is actually yet one more variation, because this time they are green, but yes, a little bit different number here. Ah no, yes, Q100, and here they are 1200 or I200, so little bit different, maybe for different kind of sensors also or purpose. 10 of them each time. And you have the back of the board, no ball wire, very clean. Okay, quite interesting. I try to reset this board, it's a little bit difficult, this thing, to deal with. So, next board here. Looks a little bit the same, but we have the same setup here of ICs, but the parts on this side are not populated. All the resistor networks and op-amps here are not populated. This time we have two trimmers. We have not the analog devices IC here, but we have this one instead, Aris gold ceramic chip, very beautiful. And we have this variation of the hybrid modules. Very, very interesting. You can notice also a number of diodes each time. And here the sockets are different, they are gold plated, they seem to be a little bit better. Still no ball wire on the back. Some little bridges here you will notice in probably test points. Here also to hook a probe or something like this. Interesting. So it is all, I believe, for the analog boards or analog to digital boards. We are left with 3 other models of boards. This one is also called analog actually. And here we have 2 models of connectors this time. This one is completely different, you can see. Made by Sorio in France also. Gold plated of course, but different flavor of connector. We have SGS brand MC54 series. Allen Bradley here, F16B, I do not know what they are at all. Lot of capacitors, probably tantalum capacitors, and we have a whole army of analog devices AD7506, so most probably analog to digital converters. A whole bunch of them. It is fun. Here you will notice how the dust did became stuck on the chip, but it seems it is following the pattern of the track of the leg inside the chip. Here also you have all the legs that go as a spider to the middle, where are the bonding wires to the chip. if you break apart IC, you will find how it is, but you can see the dust did stick over the location of the leg inside the track of the leg inside the IC. Really, really weird. Even here a little bit. You can see on this one. Quite interesting and very nice. Very nice board, by the way. Even the little extractor handle here is branded Aerospatiale. A few trim pots and weird reference ICs. AMP01 by PMI. So you will notice some ICs are plastic ones and some are mill grade ceramic sandwich ones. More of these little bridges here to do test probing probably. Again, no bulge wire, some quality stamps here, quality control stamps. Okay, so this box is quite nice so far. I am happy with it. What do we have else? We have two boards remaining. This one is called the A-Ring board. And yes, we have this big ICs from Thomson CSF, I believe, or Alcatel, not sure. We have a bunch of Sphena brand ICs, so another French company. Probably you will find nothing about them on the web. ST, a few EPROMs here. Actually, I did read these EPROMs. There is nothing interesting inside, just hexadecimal patterns. All on the whole content of the EPROM is a pattern of hexadecimal each time. And the two regular connectors. Of course, it is static sensitive. Very nice backside here. Very clean. These connectors must not be super critical and super oftenly used, because you can notice they are not gold plated, they are just tinned. So it is really for occasional use. Interesting. We are left, I believe, with one last board, which will be the CPU board. So what do we have as a CPU? Here is what we have. Big golden connectors and a bunch of serious ICs. Also, these EPROMs have no interesting content, nothing that seems to be real software. I believe the software is located in here. So this CPU, apparently TN80C186XL12. Here we are. If it is the CPU, we have some Intel chips here, copyright 1980, so very old design. Also 30AC31. One more mysterious brand of IC here, Temic. I did never see it before. Some nice Harris and Thomson CSF gold ICs here. Each time you will notice each IC on this board has his little decoupling capacitor. Quartz oscillator here, 11.059 MHz with gold legs and base plate. And it is all. Again, the very clean back. And Nothing else. Seems we have grounding here for the software cartridge. And some apparently headers here. Maybe for optional modules or again a test or programming purpose. Testing. This board is a little bit bent, by the way. It is not completely straight. Okay, so very nice find. One last look at the back here where you can see all the wires. Bunch of them. In the middle here the shell for the body of the connectors. And dust everywhere. And you can see again all the holes in these plates here. So it seems they are probably regular parts that can be used for several units. They did provide a number of holes to hook your wires to. Each time the wire is coming through the board, does a little loop and then is soldered, you will notice. And for this purpose we have two different sizes of holes. Really interesting. And also looks like we have more wires going from one connector to another, to the next one here. Where is it? Here. You can see more wires. So bus between all the connectors, and then connection to the back components here on the outside wall connector. All this made with this headers connectors, so regular header connector, Dupont or something like this, brand, like you could find in your computer, actually, in a desktop computer, the same model. So no terrible quality here. And also you will notice nothing preventing them from vibrating loose except the friction of numerous pins. So this one has no wire populated. Quite weird. Handmade lacing here on this power supply harness. But apart from this, all the wires here in the middle are a complete mess. Look at this. Super dense. Quite amazing. Really a curious piece of equipment. So maybe this will be a good thumbnail for the video. Yes. And I believe it is all for this thing. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.